Hello friends, today we will do chapter number 6 of novel David Copperfield, written by Charles Dickens. Life with the Wickfields. Sometimes my aunt was strict. She chased with the donkeys or anyone else, for that matter, who dared to walk over the grass near her garden. But she cared about me. Living there was like something from a storybook. And I liked Mr. Dick. He was an interesting person. His family thought he was mad and wanted to place him in a psychiatric institution, but Aunt Betsy let him stay with her. I must admit that Mr. Dick was a bit odd at times, but he was gentle and kind. He was writing a book about his life. Aunt Betsy told me that he had been writing it for years, but never seemed to finish it. The time soon came when I had to go to school again. My aunt took the advice of her trusted friend and lawyer, Mr. Wickfield, and I was enrolled at a school in Canterbury. Dr. Strong was the headmaster there, and he was a polite and well-educated man. Aunt Betsy had arranged for me to live with Mr. Wickfield while I was away at school. I enjoyed living with Mr. Wickfield and his lovely daughter Agnes, who was 13, the same age as me. She had long brown hair and clear blue eyes. Agnes seemed very mature for her age, and I often thought about what a wise and special person she was. She was like a sister. I trusted her and asked for her advice about many things. Agnes, I often think of my future, and I don't know what I will do. Of course, you don't. No one knows the future, but you can prepare for it by doing well at school and learning from your mistakes. The only bad thing about living at the Wickfields was Uriah, Mr. Wickfield's assistant. Uriah was a skinny young man with greasy long hair and ink-stained fingers. But it was more his manner that bothered me than his appearance. When he spoke, he twisted his body in a strange way, which reminded me of a snake. From the first moment I saw him, my instincts told me not to trust him. He pretended to be humble and lowered his head a lot when he talked to us. But I often caught him grinning shyly when he said, "I am well aware that I am the humblest person in the world. My mother is likewise a humble person. We live in a very humble house." I was a bit uneasy one day when he insisted that I have tea with him and his mother. She was just as mysterious, drowning, and frightening as her son. While we were having tea, they both asked me many strange questions. "Do you know how much money Wickfield makes in a year? Where's your family from, Master Copperfield? They must have money to send you to Dr. Strong's school." I answered truthfully, but I was very uncomfortable and wondered why they asked such questions. Then just as I was about to leave, there was a knock at the door. I was very surprised when I saw who it was. Mr. Micawber, my old friend from London. "Ah, David, my boy, you will find that I turn up in many places Will you don't expect me? When I saw Mr. Micawber and Uriah Heep being so friendly with each other, I felt a bit shocked, but I was happy to see my old friend again. Time passed peacefully and I eventually finished school when I was 18. I did very well in all my subjects. In fact, I got top marks. The time had also come for me to leave Canterbury and to start my own life. However, it was difficult for me to say goodbyes to Agnes. We were both very sad, but something more serious seemed to be troubling her. David, I am so worried about my father. Uriah Heep is an evil man. I don't trust him. He encourages father to drink a lot of wine, and they'll tell him not to worry and that he will look after the business. Promise me, David, that you will come and help us if we ever need it. Of course, Agnes, of course, I will. Thank you, friends.